Good evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Jefferson Robbins filling in for Grant Olson tonight, but we will get to see a little bit of Grant this evening. Before we get to today's top news stories, we need to take a quick look outside at our weather window. This is really Grant's specialty, and he'll be along to deliver the weather later on in our session. This is the view looking north up the Columbia River from our beautiful cross cam, the Sky-Fi camera looking down on the whole Wenatchee Valley. Today has been a nice day so far. We're looking at a change in conditions over the weekend with not so much severe change, but we will see some breezy conditions, especially in the Columbia Basin. And with wind in our area at this time of year, that always does bring the elevated risk of fire. Please be careful, please be safe, please be cautious if you're out enjoying the weekend weather. But now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. With the Saddle Mountain fire outside Royal City nearly fully contained, the Southeast Washington Interagency Management Team has handed over control to local firefighting agencies. Firefighters from Winthrop and Twisp were able to get quick control of a 2-acre brush fire outside Winthrop on Wednesday evening. And a hiker exploring Birch Mountain over the 4th of July holiday discovered a disturbing symbol. But we begin tonight in the Wenatchee Valley, where coronavirus infections continue to spread among the population. Yesterday, the Chelan-Douglas Health District said 7 residents at Kashmir Care Center have now tested positive and are being kept in isolation there. Today, 47 new cases were reported in the 2 counties, and Confluence Health in Wenatchee says it's treating 18 patients who are currently hospitalized for the virus. Spokesman Andrew Canning says 5 of the patients are on ventilators. The new cases amount to 264 over the last 2 weeks per 100,000 population, and that's far above the 25 per 100,000 that the state wants to see before counties can begin reopening their economies. COVID-19 has killed 9 people from the Chelan and Douglas County area, almost 1,400 people statewide, and 134,000 people throughout the United States. Well, with the Saddle Mountain fire outside Royal City nearly fully contained, the Southeast Washington Interagency Management Team handed over control today to local firefighting agencies. The state's largest wildfire this year burned more than 8,000 acres of remote U.S. Fish and Wildlife Preserve land in Grant County. Winds finally died down on Wednesday, and crews were able to complete some mop-up work on the fire, which started just after noon on Monday. Local agencies will now be monitoring for potential hotspots. While firefighters from Winthrop and Twisp were able to get quick control of a 2-acre brush fire outside Winthrop on Wednesday evening, the fire at 99 Horizon Flats Road broke out about 8 p.m. in grass and brush. No structures were threatened, and the cause of the fire remains under investigation. A hiker exploring Birch Mountain over this 4th of July holiday discovered a disturbing symbol, a noose tied to a tree branch with scattered graffiti that seemed to indicate white power. The hiker photographed the noose and cut it down and says he reported the discovery to Chelan County authorities. Nationally, there have been many new reports of nooses tied in trees since large-scale Black Lives Matter demonstrations began in earnest last May. Well, coming up next, the first major remodel of Wenatchee Public Library in its 60-year history is nearly complete. Parking continues to be a problem for the throngs of people visiting the Alpine Lakes wilderness areas outside Leavenworth. And a $43,000 state grant will help clean up the resting place of one of Wenatchee's city founders. And finally, Grant County Sheriff Tom Jones now has a place at the table with state law enforcement leadership. I'm Jefferson Robbins, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Nissan is the value leader in new cars and SUVs. Check out these new models starting at under $20,000. The all-new Versa from $17,020. The all-new Sentra from $17,400. And the all-new Kicks from $17,995. Now you can have the Nissan style, performance, and reliability, all for under $20,000.
And they're all here at Town Nissan, up behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Boating Spring in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. One look at the new Z series of Supreme boats and you'll know you're looking at a high-performance wake surfing boat. These boats are known as the Zeus boats because riding one is like surfing a lightning bolt, embodying the mythical trinity of surf, strength, and spirit. See the Supreme boat line at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. The first major remodel of the Wenatchee Public Library in its 60-year history is nearly complete. Once it's done in the next few weeks, the main library at 310 Douglas Street will have new shelving, improved lighting, updated technology, a centralized information desk, community spaces, private meetings and study areas, and new bathrooms. The project started in spring 2019, and completion was delayed a few months by the COVID-19 pandemic. It's largely been funded by a $1.5 million group of donations gathered by the Friends of the Wenatchee Public Library. Sadly, the upgraded building won't be able to reopen until Phase 3 of the state's 4-phase pandemic recovery plan. Now, parking continues to be a problem for the throngs of people visiting the Alpine Lakes wilderness areas outside Leavenworth, but the Forest Service said most people are obeying the rules. Ahead of the 4th of July weekend, new parking rules were implemented that allow parking only on the right side of the road for people going to 8 Mile, Stewart, and Kolchuk Lakes. Over the weekend, rangers were out patrolling Stewart Lake parking and counted 349 cars on the correct side of the road. They did issue several tickets for people without parking passes, however. The Forest Service says weekends have been so busy, trailhead parking lots are usually full by 7 a.m. Well, a $43,000 state grant will help clean up the resting place of one of Wenatchee's city founders. The W.T. Clark Mausoleum in the Wenatchee Cemetery needs a new roof, wall repairs, stucco, trim and door work, a paint job, and some landscaping. Back in March, the State Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation approved the grant, and work gets underway soon. The mausoleum is historically significant because Clark, who died in 1937, helped found Wenatchee's first national bank, establish its first newspaper, helped build the valley's first bridge across the Columbia, and helped develop the irrigation that made local orchards so bountiful. Well, Grant County Sheriff Tom Jones now has a place at the table with state law enforcement leadership. He was elected sheriff at large with the executive board of the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs. WASPIC is the main organization serving police agencies across the state. Jones has been Grant County Sheriff since 2011. He was elected to the 14-member WASPIC board on June 23rd. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast with Grant Olson. That and much more is still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation eco-diesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck: there's no reason to leave town.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
How do you know when it's time to go to Boswell's Furniture? When you know the look you love, the colors you want, but need a little design help to bring it all together. With Boswell's complimentary design service, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa guide you until your vision becomes reality. More styles, more fabrics, and more choices of quality home furnishings fill Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom so you can see it and feel it before you buy. Come into Boswell's and explore the endless possibilities of home furnishings. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it the radio or seeing it in the newspaper, I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
Welcome back. The COVID-19 crisis has forced a lot of us to do online what we'd rather do in person. That goes for political debates as well. Last night, the Twisp Valley Grange in Okanagan County hosted its first remote candidates forum for the 12th District legislative race. Incumbent first-term Republican Keith Gaynor will face Democratic challenger Adrienne Moore in that contest. Here's some of what they had to say.
I think it's clear I'm not a career politician. My work has always been in the community, working with people and families. But that's often meant that I had to work at a regional or a state level, working on policy and budget and legislation around youth homelessness or healthcare or fixing our broken social safety net. And I've done that work. I've been good at that work because of the experiences I've had, because of the work that I've done. And in the last 12 years, I've helped build a critical social and health services organization in our region. And after the 2014-15 wildfires, I helped stand up fire recovery efforts. And I brought in critical dollars. I helped change legislation so we were better prepared for the next disaster. But I also made sure that every person up every creek had access to the resources that they needed to recover. And I know from my own experience, from my lived experience, and from the work that I've done, how hard it is to make it in North Central Washington. So unless we change something now, it's only going to get harder and harder. And I think the thing that's most important right now is that we don't have a seat at the decision-making table in Olympia. The State House, the Senate, the governor's seat are all held by Democrats, which means that we don't have someone who's able to advocate at the decision-making table in Olympia. And right now, the risks are too high. We need somebody who's able to be there fighting for the needs of our community.
My definition of leadership would be saying someone who really has a heart for service. If you're going to be a strong leader in a community, you have to be able to put the interests of others above your own, but yet you see the bigger picture. You understand the complexities of the situation. You have strong principles, good, sound, solid principles, but you're very flexible in incorporating other viewpoints. And then, of course, I spent the bulk of my life here in the community in different types of service involvement, and all of those things have been very helpful to shape my leadership style. At the county commission level, I was a commissioner for many years, and we had a number of things that really challenged us. It's not easy to just make decisions and just let things go, because every decision you make it affects the very people that you're in contact with on a daily basis. I believe that, if you realize that, in this case, where the best government is the one that's closest to the people, your definition and your interpretation will be shaped by your concern for your fellow, neighbors and, community members. And really, I think that's to me, that's probably the most important thing, is that you realize that you are a representative, but you have to keep in mind that you're representing the whole district. And we do in the 12th district have a wide variety of interests, and they need a strong voice to represent the different aspects.
You can view the full candidates forum on YouTube at the link you saw on your screen, or find it on the Twisp Valley Grange Facebook page. That debate also features candidates for Okanagan County Commissioner. The primary election takes place on August 4th. Now for our daily glance at the Wenatchee Valley's weather activity, here's our very own Grant Olson. Grant?
Thank you very much, Jefferson. And time now to take a look at that north central Washington weather forecast. Weekend in view now, and it looks like a nice one. We'll get to that in a second, but not a bad day out there today either. We did see a few more clouds today than we've seen the last couple of days, but the good news about today, a lot like yesterday, not much wind out there. We did see a wind about 10 miles an hour at times, but boy, a beautiful look down at the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera up on Wenatchee Heights, and you can see those clouds just over the Cascades. But all in all, it was a nice day today. Unofficially, high temperature still a little bit below normal, but it wasn't bad out there. 81 unofficially, 86 now is our normal high temperature. We were right on the money as far as low temperatures go at 60 degrees. Record high, that was set back in 1975 at 105 degrees. Record low, 47, and that was set in 1972. Sunrise this morning at 5:14, and the sun will set tonight at 8:57. Friday, right around the corner. Let's take a look and see how your weather will shake out for Friday. You might be heading out of town or have some outdoor plans. It should be a gorgeous day. In fact, maybe the best day of the next 7 days, because we're warming up, but not much wind tomorrow, because we're going to see some wind as we get in to a Saturday and Sunday. But tomorrow, temperatures upper 80s for Moses Lake, Ephrata, and Quincy. We will see 87 here in the Wenatchee area tomorrow, even 84 in Leavenworth, 80 up in Lake Wenatchee, and then mid to upper 80s all the way up the Highway 97 corridor up into Okanagan County and Omak. Tonight we will see mostly clear skies, still a little bit breezy out there. Just can't shake that breeze, but not bad. We'll see some showers as well just along the western side of the Cascades, so North Bend could certainly see a shower or so tonight. Not much for us here in the eastern part of the state. For Friday, as I just mentioned, it is going to be a gorgeous day. There's lots of sunshine for tomorrow. Light winds out there. It will be warmer too, with high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Today only in the lower 80s. As we kick off our weekend, it's going to kick off with a little bit of breeze, and most of that will be down around the Ellensburg area, but not ruling out for the Waterville Plateau. Also over in the Columbia Basin, it will be warm for Saturday. Many of us will be touching 90 degrees for an afternoon high temperature for Saturday. Sunday, a little bit more breeze, and it'll move a little bit farther to our north. So you folks up in Omak, Winthrop, Twisp area, you'll see some wind on Sunday, and much cooler temperatures too as our flow begins to come down from Canada, and that'll cool us down about 10 degrees as we end our weekend on Sunday. And then for Monday, kicking off our next work week, mostly sunny skies. It will be mild out there with high temperatures in the low 80s, but we warm up as we get into Tuesday. More sunshine. In fact, a lot of sunshine all over the western United States. Temperatures on Tuesday back into the lower and middle 80s. And then as we get into Wednesday, our final day of our 7-day forecast, high pressure staying in control, but more windy conditions as we get into our hump day Wednesday. Sunshine with high temperatures then in the mid 80s. Now let's take a look at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast. Tonight we'll drop down to an overnight low. Mild, isn't it? 61 degrees, 87 Friday, 89 for the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval in our live broadcast on Saturday. It should be just perfect out there. Sunday, cooler and 80. We'll see 81 Monday, and then we'll warm up into the mid 80s on both Tuesday and Wednesday. And that's a look at your north central Washington weather forecast. Let's send it back now to Jefferson.
Thank you so much, Grant. Coming up next, our sports report tonight with Dan Kuntz, and even more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Hi, my name is Blaine Johnson. I'm at Global Elite Motors. We're tied in with Global Car Care down here locally. So we're not your typical car buying experience. Somebody can come down here, take a look at what we have, and if we have the right vehicle for you, we'd be glad to help you out with it. A lot of times we are able to go out and find specific vehicles for somebody so that it fits their needs, their budget, and all the things that you want without you being obligated right away. If you're looking for a good, reliable car, come see me, Blaine Johnson, down at Global Elite Motors.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service, and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson, where we've got huge news. We've started our Blueberry U-Pick. It's a great time to toss the family in the car and get on out to Blueberry Hills, where you can get the best down-home scratch country cooking around and pick some of the world's most delicious and largest blueberries that have been high desert farmed. This makes for an intense blueberry flavor, and they are so much fun to pick. Our fields are open 8 to 2:30 daily and restaurant from 8 to 3, so come on out and join us.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCWLIFE magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCWLIFE magazine right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
Good Thursday, sports fans. Once again, Dan Kuntz filling in for Eric Grandstrom, who continues his well-deserved vacation. Let's take a look at sports. It could be a sign of things to come. The Ivy League yesterday put all fall sports on hold until at least January. So they have now become the first Division I football conference that has announced they will not play football as scheduled in the fall because of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the Ivy League set a precedence back on March 10th. That's when it became the first conference to cancel its men and women's basketball tournaments. That was just before the coronavirus, of course, began to take off. And almost immediately, the Ivy League was criticized for overreacting. Some of the harshest criticism came from its own players and coaches, but shouldn't you know it, within, of course, just a couple of days, the NCAA tournament was canceled. The NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball spring training games were suspended. We'll have to wait and see. And rather sobering news from the most successful collegiate athletic department in the country, Stanford University, announcing yesterday that it's going to permanently drop 11 sports to help offset what is a $70 million athletic department budget deficit. The school will discontinue men's and women's fencing, field hockey, lightweight rowing, men's rowing, co-ed and women's sailing, squash, synchronized swimming, men's volleyball, and wrestling after the current academic year. Stanford is also eliminating 20 support staff positions. Stanford is the first known major conference school to eliminate athletic programs because of the pandemic. Stanford has won the NCAA Directors Cup. That cup goes to the most outstanding overall athletic teams, and they've won it for the last 25 years in a row. The NFL and the Players Union still in the midst of negotiating the necessary safety protocols needed to carry on the 2020 season. But if the two sides agree on one safety measure, the league could lose one of its biggest stars. We're talking about Texans star J.J. Watt says he has no interest in playing this year if the NFL makes him wear a face shield. He told Pro Football Talk he wouldn't be on the field if face shields are required. Here's his quote. "My second year in the league, I thought it would be cool. I put a visor on my helmet. It was like, hey, this looks so cool. I want to put a visor on. I had it on for about 3 periods of practice, and I said, take this sucker off. I'm going to die out here. Just the face one. So now you want me to put something around my mouth? No, you can keep that. If that comes into play, I don't think you're going to see me out there on the field." Now, the NFL has reportedly tested different types of face masks in an effort to prevent the spread of the coronavirus during the season. In May, Tom Mayer, who is the NFL's medical director, told Adam Scheffler that the league would likely recommend some type of special face mask for the upcoming football season. And once again, a friendly reminder, our cameras will be at the WVSO this Saturday night.
Green flag in the air, we're racing for the Dixie Air Conditioning Thunder Cars on Dixie Air Conditioning night.
35-lap main event for the Thunder Cars here this evening.
A little bit of a bump already out of Cameron Doyle in the 71 to the back of Carl Brandt. A couple former Roadrunner drivers in the field.
Next racing night for the WVSO is this Saturday night, July 11th. We'll be there broadcasting it live here on the NCWLIFE channel. The Thunder Cars and Pro Late Models will be racing. It's North Valley Mechanical Night. They'll be joined by the Mountain Dew Junior Late Models, the Plum Perfect Roadrunners, the Northwest Vintage Modifieds, and the Dorf Cars. And once again this weekend, no fans will be allowed in the grandstands because of COVID-19 restrictions, and that's probably going to be the case next weekend on Saturday, July 18th, and we'll be there again. It's Thunder in the Valley Night with racing featuring the Economy Midgets, the Northwest Focus Midget Series, the Granite Super Sprints, Speed Tour Super Sprints, the Northwest Mini Stock Tour, and the West Coast Vintage Racers. Looking forward to broadcasting some racing on Saturday night. It'll be a good time. And that's sports on this Thursday. Jefferson, back to you.
Thank you so much, Dan. I know you'll be back to tell us about Wake Up Wenatchee Valley tomorrow morning, but finally from us tonight, a box truck hauling 50-gallon drums of mint oil flipped on Highway 24 in Grant County early Wednesday afternoon. The driver of the truck was transported to a fellow community hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Washington State Patrol Trooper John Bryant said the accident scene smelled, quote, quite pleasant.
Right here, State Route 24, milepost 57, about 17 miles to the east of Mattawa in Grant County. You see a rolled over semi. It had an enclosed trailer that was full of mint oil. That's what a lot of these barrels are. There's 17 barrels of mint oil, 400 or 500 pounds each. So a big mess out here. We've only got one lane block. We're able to get traffic coming by, alternating them. So the traffic's really light right now, but bit of a mess out here. It's going to take a while to clean up. Driver at the hospital. Not life-threatening injuries, but he's going to be sore.
Looks bad, smells great. But let's check back in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Jefferson. Tomorrow is Friday. You know what that means? Fridays are followed by Saturday and then Sunday. And here in the Western Hemisphere, when you have those combinations of a Saturday and Sunday back to back, those are called the weekend. And we're almost to the weekend. So get your weekend going live and local. I'll have your latest news, sports, that all-important weekend weather forecast, and everything you need to get your Friday going live and local tomorrow at 7 a.m. For Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Jefferson, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. That's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website, ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we would like to hear from you. You can send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, or give us a call, 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. Don't forget your mask.
Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation EcoDiesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. 2 more reasons when it comes to buying a truck. There's no reason to leave town.